Troll fart. After the first settlers populated Borgafjörður and other parts of the western region, the trolls withdrew to the moors and found themselves caves in the lava fields of Hallmunarhraun and elsewhere. Some trolls were very angry with the human beings and did them all the harm they could muster. One of them was called Depilrasa, or Spotty Butt. She kept to the area of Arnvatsheiði and was especially hard to deal with. She stole both sheep and people and devoured them both with an eager appetite. At that time in Húsafell, there lived a man named Thorstein. At the end of summer, it was a tradition to go fishing for trout to preserve in the pantry over the winter. Rumors of the irritable troll woman did not frighten Thorstein from going to fish in the rich fishing waters. Thus, he went to fish as he has done before and took a farmhand with him. After 2 days and accumulating such a good catch, they noticed a movement behind a nearly crag and got the feeling someone was watching them. Thorstein called out, "Show yourself if you have any business with me." After some delay, they saw a swarthy creature come out from behind the crag and approach them. An unkeptly troll boy who looked more like a rugged man. They greeted him and asked him what he was doing in the moors. He said his name was Dofri, and that he was the son of Depilrasa and a shepherd whom she had taken many years ago and kept in her cave. "But my mother has now killed and eaten my father. I fear the same fate soon awaits me, for she constantly finds fault with me, just like she did my father before she killed him." Thorstein felt for the boy and invited him to take cover with them and accompany them back to their settlement. Dofri thanked them and said, "She knows of your presence here and intends to capture you. You're impressive-looking men, so she hardly dares to attack you both at once. You should stand close together when she comes and keeps your axe and knife on the belt. She often pretends to be friendly and will ask you for skyr to eat. You should offer her food, but do not let her thank you with a kiss, because most likely she will bite your head off." Once they had hidden Dofri in a small cave nearby, Thorstein and the farmhand continued to fish. Shortly afterwards, they saw a strange creature approaching. It was the troll woman, huge and hideous. Everything went according to Dofri's prediction. She seemed friendly and asked them for skyr to eat. They gave her some, and she wanted to kiss Thorstein for the meal, but he moved away and answered, "Your gratitude is acknowledged without the kiss." The troll woman hesitated for a moment as if she were uncertain, but then she turned around abruptly and took off without saying goodbye. The next morning, Thorstein, the farmhand, and Dofri headed back to the settlement with 3 horses loaded with fish. The following year they went back to fish, except Dofri, who did not want to return to the moors. They were now more numerous, and the old troll woman kept away while they were fishing. Before they returned to Húsafell, Thorstein and his men built a small but functional hut, which was possible to use in the winter when they planned to return for ice fishing. Thorstein and a farmhand went up to the moors in the middle of the final months of winter, when the waters were frozen. They settled into the hut and lit a fire in the stove to keep warm before going fishing. The fishing went well, but the frost was bitter and they became cold from the outside. They developed a system and rotated between going out to fish and returning to the hut to warm up. In the evening of the second day, when Thorstein came out of the hut, he saw that Depilrasa had caught and killed the farmhand and was advancing towards him with giant steps. He resolved to go back inside the hut and bolt the door. He soon found that the door was being shaken, and it took all his strength to hold the door so that it did not fly off its hinges. Then the hut was pounded from the outside, and some stonework torn down, but the hut was so well built that the troll found it too time-consuming to tear down the stones. Next, Thorstein heard thumping on the roof. Then the smokestack was covered and a stream ran down the stove and put out the fire. The stream was so abundant that it flooded the floor, and Thorstein was soon up to his ankles in the liquid. Afterwards, a great rumble was heard, which was accompanied by such a foul-smelling stench that Thorstein became woozy and ready to collapse. He reckoned the giantess had passed a wind in the attempt to suffocate him. When he was about to lose consciousness, his eyes spotted his alpenstock, which stood against the wall. The pole had an iron spike tip and was used for digging holes in the ice. Thorstein managed to grab the pole and stagger over to the stove. As he drove the tip up the smokestack and into the rear of the giantess, he said, "Take that and bear the name that suits you, monster!" The giantess let out a howl, but was slow to move, and he managed to thrust the alpenstock in deep 3 times before she stood up and fresh air steamed down the smokestack. He quickly recovered himself and marched out the door with the pole in hand. Dapilrasa stood against the wall bleeding. She looked angrily at him and the alpenstock before making a run for it over the ice. Thorstein suspected that she intended to take the farmhand's body with her. He knew he could not allow anything of that kind, and ran after her, brandishing the alpenstock and shouting abusive words at her. When she became aware of this, she changed her course and disappeared into the moors. Thorstein followed the trail of blood for a while, but decided to return. His energy was spent, but he did not think it wise to stay another night in the hut. The most sensible thing to do was to hasten back to the settlement with the catch and arrange a proper funeral for the farmhand. Thorstein came home and laid in bed sick for several weeks. After this, he remained short of breath and had poor stamina for the rest of his days. Nothing more was heard of Dapilrasa, nor were there any more stories of her bothering travelers on Armadsheiði. Some say that she died in her cave from blood loss.